Hi, how are you today? Good, good. Yes, I've been looking forward to seeing you. Yeah, your place is lovely. Yeah, it's very cute. Yeah, we started offering at home personal consultations and services probably about 6 months ago. Yeah, it's been doing really, really great. So I got your message and I heard that you've been looking into the fantasy sci fi customizations. Is that correct? Yeah. Oh, did you? Yeah, no, they have been trending on social media. All of our kind of creature species transformations. They are as close to the real thing as will ever exist. Yeah. All right. So I did get you to fill out our pre consultation questionnaire with my assistant. I do want to just go over your information though, just to make sure we have the correct contact info on file, if that's all right. Do you mind? Okay, good. All right. So I do apologize. I don't mean for any of this to be repetitive. I just want to make sure that we have everything correct. Okay, good. Can I get your spelling of your whole name, please? Okay. And your date of birth? What is the best way to contact you? Okay. Okay. And what's your billing address? Okay. And your cerebral chip credit finance number for billing your account. Okay. All right. And just to confirm this, can you go ahead and scan your fingerprint right here on the screen? Okay. Thank you. All right. Perfect. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. I don't want to waste any more time. I know you're very excited, and so am I. So, just a little bit about the process. I know you're familiar with just the general overview of how this works, but I just want to reassure you that there won't be any kind of recovery time required. Anything that we do here today will have very, very minimal effects. That could include a little bit of swelling and maybe a little bit of redness or tenderness, but even those effects are very rare to happen. And if they do, it's no more than 24 hours. So there really isn't any pain involved. It's truly just a scan of your cerebral chip, and we just go ahead and override your current settings to these new ones that we're going to select today. Okay. Do you have any questions before we get started? I just want you to be really comfortable and relaxed with the process. Okay. As far as selections go, what we do here is I go ahead and I curate a perfect selection of options based on your wants and needs. So I go ahead and I revise your questionnaire that you complete, and based on your preferences and your likes, I go ahead and curate a perfect selection of options for you to choose from. Now, if there's anything in this list that you're not happy with, or you wish you had different options, please speak up. It won't offend me, I promise. We can go ahead and find something else. Okay? Yeah. So this is all about you and your wants, and we want to make sure we get you exactly what you're looking for, okay? Great. So let's get started. So I'm going to go through this and have everything appear here on the HUD display. So these are your first options. So we're going to select your race. So this will be your species. So you can choose between fairy, goblin, angel, mermaid, elf, or demon. Fairy? Okay. All right, next we have your hair. So because we are going to be a supernatural, whimsical creature after all, you're not limited to just human hair texture and human hair. However, if that's what you prefer, we can certainly stick with what you have or select a different type of human texture. But what we have to choose from are flames. So your hair could be made of like kind of magma, like fiery flames. It could be made of flowers. Alien. So the alien choice is, think alien like organic matter, very kind of like just unknown plant material, unknown kind of shapes, organic kind of stringy and a little bit spooky. Almost like coral reef, underwater jellyfish, kind of anemone, those kind of shapes. Then there's also clouds, very ethereal, very dreamy. You can also choose butterflies. You can have your whole hair be comprised of butterflies fluttering around your face, or human hair. So that could fall anywhere from like tight, kinky, coily curls, like natural hair, to like straight, like thin hair, anything like that. It's up to you. Yeah, okay. Butterflies? Sure. All right, so these next options here, these are going to be what the butterflies look like. So this is the butterflies' wings, so their wing pattern and wing color. So something to keep in mind is that the butterflies themselves are going to be AI, so they're going to be artificial intelligence. They are not real. So they are not going to be real butterflies flying around you. So these, think of them more based on the color and then the pattern of the butterflies themselves. They don't exist. Our developers have created them custom. So we have the ice butterfly. They're very vibrant blue, kind of really icy cold, almost looks like ice fragments. They have a little bit of a duochrome. When the light hits them a certain way, they almost look a little bit pink and lavender, but they're primarily kind of a blue cyan color. Then we have the the wood butterflies. That's very creamy, browns, think like just natural colors. Then we have the acid butterfly option. That one there is like a very bright orange and bright yellow mixed with a little bit of gunmetal to break that up, with a little bit of pops of white to really like up the contrast. We have the wish option, which is kind of our pop art selection. Think like really kind of unique patterns, polka dots, like uneven, kind of organic shapes, but like bright orange, like color pop with like black and white. The next option we have is Scarlet. Scarlet's more of like the flirty, demure, kind of spooky one. Think just red and black, sharp shapes, like sharp, longer lines. And lastly, we have Bold, which is like our bold, bright magenta and pink color, with more of like that kind of monarch eye shape in the wing. Okay, let's go with ice. All right, so next here, we have your wing shape. So this will be your physical wings. So these will be your wings that you use for flying. They will be functional wings. So scale, all that will be up to you. But here are the options. So we have 6 of them. We have dawn, evening, night, daylight, moonlight, and sunrise. I know it is hard to pick. Yeah. You want to go with daylight? Sure. Before we move on, I do want to ask you, so you have the option to have your physical wings match the butterfly wings that are used for your hair. So we went ahead and picked ice butterflies for your wings. So it would be that blue, bright kind of icy blue color. Would you like your daylight wings to match that? Be that same kind of icy blue. Now, personally, I do recommend keeping them consistent. The overall look will be much more cohesive, and it just looks more edited and more thoughtful and purposeful, I should say. Okay, you want to keep them the same? Sure. Okay, so next we have scale. So the fun thing about being a fairy is you can change what size you are. So we can either keep you like a humanoid, human scale size, so anywhere between like 5 feet, 5 to like 7 feet, I guess, in height, something around there, or smaller or a little bit taller, whatever you prefer. Or we could go into fairy scale. So fairy size is 6 inches. So we would shrink you down to 6 inches. Or you could do pixie scale, which is 2 inches. It is worth noting that you cannot, once you've selected one of these options, you cannot interchange between the others later. Whatever selection you pick here will remain this way until you either come visit us again or another. I wouldn't recommend going to another organization or company, but I'd recommend coming back to us and we would reset it to either your factory default reset or of your chip, or select something different. You'd like to stay within human scale? Sure. All right, so next here we have your skin. So you can pick what color skin you have. Here we have Mischief. Mischief is like an icy blue. We have Flirty, which is a pink. Tricky, which is like a lavender lilac color. Sprite, which is like a mint green, sage green. Then we have Faye, which is more of like a mocha chocolate brown. And then Shroom, which is a more Caucasian beige color. Shroom? Okay, let's go with Shroom. Next up on the list, we have your ear shape. So you can pick between these 6. We have Charm, Fable, Muse, Enchanted, Illusion, and Brave. You like Muse? Yeah, Muse is very much like a standard humanoid ear shape, like Charm, with that like additional like pointed tip that you see that's pretty common in like elves and stuff like that. I also like Enchanted. I like a little bit of the more like dropped slope. Muse? Yeah, let's go with Muse. Okay. All right, so up next we have your eye color. So these are options 1 through 6. Yes, 4 is really fun. That one's been really popular even like among just sort of regular customization, even like outside of the fantasy customization. People have been really liking it. Yeah. So my personal preferences for you with this, what you've chosen so far, I would say to either go with option 3 or 5. I like 3 because it has like the little stars in the eyes and it just adds a like extra pop of like kind of magic. And the gray would kind of be very striking. However, I think what would really go best with your look is 5, because you're choosing the ice butterflies and your blue wings. I think the blue will just match and look good, but with that pop of pink, it just adds that like extra kind of depth to the eye. And I just think it would look overall very like pleasing. You want to go with 5? Okay, let's do it. All right, so this option is optional. I mean, everything is optional. But this is not a typical selection for fairies. It's something I've just recently started including because I think it really adds something to the look. And it seems like people are kind of 50-50 on it. So I just like to keep it here just in case people do want to have them. And that would be horns. So although, again, not common for the fairy category, I do like to keep it because I think it just it can really add to the look. So we have greed, fortune, desire, lust, fear, and envy. Oh, okay. So you do want to go with horns. Okay. So I love that. You want to go with fortune? They are a little bit more aggressive and in your face than greed, which is the smaller scale of those. But I think that's a great choice. I think that's going to be very striking. All right, let's go with it. All right, and then the last category for selection here, we have smell. So this will be what you smell like to other people. This has quickly become many people's favorite part of the customization. It really adds to the overall experience. It really solidifies. It just really makes you feel like you're not a human anymore. And people have been really enjoying that part of the process. So For those options, we have fresh baked cookies, ocean salt water, fresh cut grass, lavender, mint, and sulfur. Yes, sulfur is a choice. I know it may seem odd, however, some people do choose to go for a more kind of mischievous, sneaky fairy. And with the horns added, and it depending on your color scheme, you might want to choose something maybe a little bit more evil. So sulfur would match that much better than like something else would, like lavender, for example. So I do like to keep it there just for, the person that may prefer that selection. I don't like to leave anybody out. Yeah. Okay. Fresh baked cookies. Love it. All right. So that is it for your selections. Before we go ahead and initiate those changes, I just want to go over your special features that come with a fairy race. These are really important to keep in mind and to know. So before we move on to the actual customization and the altering scan, I want to make sure that we go over your special fairy features. So there are 3 here on the screen, and we have the AI hair butterflies, functional wings, and fairy magic. So they are AI butterflies. They will continuously spawn within a 1-foot radius of your head. They can fly within 5 feet of you, interacting with surfaces and other living creatures. So if there's other people around you or other animals, the butterflies may fly off and like land on their shoulder, land on their face. They will interact just like how regular butterflies would. However, if they're forced outside of that 5-foot radius of you, whether somebody grabs them or they get forced off somehow, they'll just despawn because they're not real. So they just despawn, and then new ones will respawn in your within 1 foot of you. And what they do is they flutter around your face. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but they'll flutter around your face and they'll create what looks like hair flowing in the wind. And some of them will just kind of trickle off. It looks very magical and just very breathtaking. It's quite captivating to see it happen. And the butterflies, they don't require food or water or anything like that. And they can't be harmed or damaged. If anything like that were to happen or to try to hurt them or to damage them, they just despawn. Okay? And that's just continuous. You don't have to worry about it. They'll just continuously happen. And the way that it's mapped out around your face, like it won't be like they won't land directly on your face, like anywhere where it might block your vision or go in your mouth or anything like that. They've been built in a way that's very responsive and adaptable to the situation you're in. Okay. So next we have functional wings. So it's very straightforward for the wings. They allow you to fly. Okay. So anything you could imagine doing with having wings, you'll be able to do with these wings. Your wing speed is 5 feet per second in any direction. The wings are susceptible to damage. So I would recommend getting our wing insurance if you haven't flown before. We do have some recommended classes that I can give you some brochures for or send you some information about when you're on your way here. And I would recommend taking some of those classes or at least looking into it and reading a little bit about it. It does take a little bit to get used to at first, but you'll have it down. The big things to know is that they are susceptible to damage, and it being your first time, I would recommend getting the insurance. Yeah, it's a 500 credit deductible. We can add it to your bill if you'd like. Yes? Okay. Excellent. Now, please note we are required to say this, and I will have to have you sign a contract to agree to these terms here. But please note that you are required to follow all flying guidelines as appointed by the government. This includes restricted flight paths and trespassing in regulated airspace. So obviously you can't be flying above like a military base or anywhere that may interfere with like other flying ships or any kind of flying path that could create like accidents, anything like that. So be very mindful and cautious when flying. I honestly wouldn't recommend flying any higher than 30 feet, but it's up to you. You have free will. Okay. And lastly, we have fairy magic. So the fairy magic is really, it's pretty much your fairy charm. So what that allows you to do, it makes others very susceptible to being charmed by you. Okay. So that would include other people being more likely to believe a lie you're telling them, being tricked. They'll be tricked by you very easily. You can force people to do things you ask them to do pretty easily. There are limitations to the suggestion. That includes you won't be able to have anybody do anything illegal. You can't force anybody to love you, stuff like that. Basic kind of anything truly malicious, you won't be able to do. It just won't work. It's very, very basic, just like kind of white lies, little things like that. You'll just think of it as you plus just a little bit extra charming. Okay? All right, so that completes the selection part of the customization. Yes. Okay, so let's get started with the customization. So all that we're going to do is I'm going to go through each of the categories again. Go ahead and mark my selection on my scanner. I'm going to go ahead and do your retina scan. Just have you look straight directly at me. Go ahead and do your retina scan. I might do a little bit more of a body scan depending on what I'm going ahead and customizing. All it does is it triggers your cerebral chip and applies those changes. It just overrides any current settings you have. Okay, so remember, any of this can be reset. It's not painful. It's a very simple, easy process. It really just takes a couple of seconds per selection. Okay, all right, let's get started. So we're going to go ahead and change you into a fairy. Let's do that first. So just look directly at me, please. Okay, perfect. All right, so next we're going to go ahead and change your hair to butterflies, okay? You're doing great. Yeah, no, you can talk through this. It's no problem. Keeping still is best, but you by no means have to stay like a statue. Oh, you're good. All right, and then we're going to change those butterflies to the ice butterflies. Okay. Oh, they're already starting to appear. Okay. Oh, yeah. Very pretty. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to go ahead and set your wings. So these are going to be your back wings, okay? All right, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and have you turn your head to the side, please. I'm just going to go ahead and access your cerebral chip directly. I just prefer to do that when it comes to the full wings. I just want to make sure the connection's really, really strong. Okay, thank you. Perfect. All right, and then we're going to set your scale. We're not changing anything. Did you want to change your height? You're staying human scale, but you didn't specify. You just want to stay your human height? This current height? Okay, so we won't even change that then. All right, and then your color. Okay, so shroom. All right, go ahead and look directly at me. Perfect. And then next, we're going to do your ears. So we're going to give you those muse ears. Just keep looking directly at me. I'm going to do each of your ears here. Perfect. Excellent. Okay. All right, and then next we have your eyes. Doot. Doot. Okay. And then we're going to give you horns. And then we're going to change your aroma to fresh baked cookies. Zoom, 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 zoom. Okay. That's it. You are done, my dear. Yes. Okay. Well, I'd recommend you take a look in the mirror here on the side, just right here. Do you like it? Yes. I know, you're gorgeous. I mean, you were gorgeous before. Mm-hmm. Good. I'm so glad you like it. Mm-hmm. Yes. If you recommend the service to another friend, they will get 20% off their first service and you'll get 20% off your next service. Yeah, so recommend anybody you wish. Okay. All right, well, it's really nice seeing you. And just give me a call anytime you want to come back in, have anything reset or change to something different. Okay. Well, take care. See ya.